Hi, welcome to Canada Loves Apple. Today we're going to talk about Bento. Bento is a database application for the Mac. It's primarily geared towards consumers and small and medium businesses, but it's very flexible and very easy to use. Today's primary focus is going to be on how maybe a small business or an entrepreneur or a home-based business can use some of the Bento templates to help them track sales leads. So before we get started, let's just go over briefly what Bento is and who's developed it. So Bento is developed by FileMaker. FileMaker, I believe, are owned by Apple. Now FileMaker make a whole variety of database applications, some very sophisticated. Bento is more, as I've mentioned, it's more geared to the consumer or small medium business market. So it's pretty easy to use. It's all template driven and you can customize the templates very easily. And finally, just before we launch the application, I think it's important to mention that FileMaker have developed a version of Bento for the iPhone and for iPad. So if you do have some traveling salespeople, or if you do have a requirement to take your databases with you and you don't want to haul out your MacBook everywhere you go, then that functionality exists, and it's pretty slick. We're not going to get into that too much with this screencast. But there are lots of tutorial videos on the Bento site that demonstrate that functionality in greater detail. Now, Bento do offer a free 30-day trial. If you do download it and install it, it's a fully featured, fully functional version of Bento. And at the end of the day, at the end of the trial, if you do decide to purchase it, it's very inexpensive. It's like $49.99. Bento is template driven. You use templates to add data into the libraries. So in Bento you have libraries, and you add, and that's what houses your data, and you input data into those libraries using a template. So if I go to templates, here they have the Bento Template Exchange. These templates are free of charge, and they're developed by enthusiasts, or some of them are actually developed by FileMaker. In fact, this is the one that I want. So I'm going to download Sales Leads by FileMaker. I'm going to download now. All right, it's down. Let it unzip. Okay, Sales Leads. Okay, so there's the Sales Leads Bento template. Now I can just double click that and launch the application. That's probably the easiest way to go about this. So I'm just going to double click it. Let's close off some of these other windows. Okay, so now Bento is launched. Here's the Sales Leads template. It's empty right now, of course, because we haven't entered any data. But you can see there's lots of good information here. So let's add some dummy information. So let's say I'm prospecting. Maybe you have a list already, and you can actually import lists into Bento. You can. Or you just want to build up your own list and start cold calling. So let's just make some dummy data here. So I've added some dummy data into this database. So let's just see what some of the fields, what we can do now with this data. All right, so here's their website. I can just click on that. It's going to launch the website. Maybe there's some other things we can do. Go to location, edit URL address. Here's their email. Here's where it gets pretty interesting. So if I just click on the email link, it automatically launches my email app. I'll just send out a test email. So that's going off in the background. Now, even though we just sent an email using the email link here, you'll see it's not dynamically linked to our email application, in that it's not automatically updating this email section of the template or the database. So in a dedicated CRM package, you'd have that functionality, but you don't quite have it here. So we have to do a couple of extra steps, and I'll just demonstrate that now. So if I go to my email, again, that's for myself. What I can do is I can just click and drag that email into Bento. And now I have a record of the email and the day that I sent it, etc. So once you have some emails in there, you can manipulate them a little bit. For example, do a quick look, see what they're all about, so you can remember what the last conversation or last exchange was about. It's also a good idea to update the contact history each and every time you have an exchange or a touch point with one of a prospect. So let's say April 28th, sent Joe an email regarding training packages. Now let's see, you already have some lists. You can import them directly into Bento. For example, here with lead source, well, right now we have it as a text field. So let's say Joe Blow, I found his name from a referral. I have to manually enter that. But we can customize this template and make it a little bit more functional. So if we go down here into the sales leads fields, I'm going to right click on lead source. I'm going to go change to choice. And then we're going to go edit field. And I'm going to say, okay, so we already have referral. Let's add some more in here. Let's go Dun & Bradstreet. Let's go add another one. Let's say Hoover's. Click OK. And then I can, choose between them. Let's say I actually found Joe Blow via Hoover's. And then later on, as you're analyzing your sales leads database, you can track which leads came from Hoover's, which leads came from Dun & Bradstreet, which were referrals, etc. So again, an important piece of the for sales management. And this sales template and templates in general are all highly customizable. You can really tweak it to meet your requirements. Let me demonstrate a really cool one. So let's say, for example, I know I have to call Joe back in 2 weeks. I can actually add a new field that ties into my iCal tasks. And you do that by clicking on the plus sign, related data, let's name it tasks. The data source is my iCal tasks. Click on create. I just simply drag it out here. I can position it where I want. Put it here for now. And I can actually create new tasks, and that will show up in my on my iCal. And so it's very, very powerful, highly customizable, and highly recommended. So again, check it out. It's Bento from FileMaker. And thanks for taking the time to watch the screencast. And we'll see you again soon.